and the ancestors are looking out for us. God Hayes is exposing them, man.
Okay, you see that chair right there? See how big it is?
Yeah.
Now look at the Pope chair under it. Scroll down, look at the Pope chair under it.
Never have it been made so clear.
Young TV. Young.
We running the game right now.
Young TV.
Time to take over.
Young
We the hottest in the game. Hit that like, hit that subscribe button. If you just not tuned in.
TV.
Share, like on your Instagram, Facebook.
Young TV.
If you tuned in, we broadcasting live from 2030, baby.
Young TV. Young
Taking over the game, baby. Oh yeah.
Young TV.
Hit that like.
Young TV.
Get them likes up in the air, you heard me?
Young TV.
Ride by. Hotel Islam.
Young TV.
Assalamu alaikum. Shalom alaikum.
Young TV.
Peace, Chief.
What's good? What's good? So,
What's going on with you? Might as well chop the game up. You the last one. When I hang out with you, I'm going to sleep.
no doubt. I just wanted to pay my respects. You know, I've been watching for a minute. I never really got a chance to request because I always catch you like on YouTube and all that. But somehow this time I got the notification that you was live today.
Yeah. So, what you think? You've been watching the work we've been doing?
Definitely been watching you for a few years now. Definitely been sending the links to people who I know will receive the information, who I would hope to receive the information. So I had a couple women that I know who've been planning on having children, like sign up to your services. Then you got like a doula services and all of that. So I appreciate that. You know, because we kind of need help in that area. And then all of the information about all the alignments that's been going on, just staying tuned in.
Yeah. It's been a lot of stuff going on, especially with the solar radiation from the solar storms. That's where all
Right.
of the data coming in for the source codes.
Right. I noticed there's a lot of like it's been a shift. I noticed like specifically since the pandemic, it's been a shift, and I feel like that's like, I mean, I remember like even before the pandemic, I felt like a shift, but I felt like the pandemic was a big frequency change. Like a lot of things began to change during that time, and I felt like the pandemic was kind of like the quote unquote like what they call the pandemic was kind of like a distraction for the fact that there was a lot of new downloads coming and they wanted to distract certain people, but I don't even think it worked because people who needed to transition, people who needed to upgrade it during that time.
Well, that's one of the reasons why everything was shut down. When everything was shut down, people got bored, and people who didn't normally look at like social media, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, started looking at it. Right. And now, while people like me, B-Dale, Yaki Awaken, Brother Kalai, while we are talking about what we're talking about, it's forcing people that wouldn't have normally looked at their social media to see us popping up in their feed now.
That's a fact. I used to post a lot, like prior to prior to the pandemic, and then like with the pandemic happening, I started to slow down on posting and like dove a little deep into the information that was out there, even though I was already tapped into information prior to that. But like during the pandemic, it kind of like forced me to like really do way more research. I started to go from like reading like 14 books a year to like 40 books a year. I was able to like tap in a little more deeper during that time.
Yeah, it's because everything is quiet. Look, when the witching hour happens at night, that's the quietest time of the night, between 3 a.m. and 4 or 5 a.m. But the witching hour is from 3 to 6. But during that period, your psychic energy, when you harnessed it and you've been exercising your aura, is so powerful, you can make stuff happen and it look like magic, but it's science,
Do you think that
spirit science.
you think that the time zones matter when it comes to that? Like if somebody on the West Coast compared to somebody on the East Coast, specific time and Eastern Standard Time?
In the time zone, it just changes when you do your ritual in relation to somebody in New York, if you in LA.
Okay.
But harnessing the energy is universal. You can harness energy wherever you at in the known or unknown universe. It's just have you trained yourself to be strong enough to use the energy that you harness. Because if you're not strong enough, you won't be able to harness enough in order for you to use it to effect.
Type. A random question that just came to mind. Like, what you think about like tantra and like, healing with your partner? Like if I'm a man, I want to heal with my woman, or the other way around, a woman wants to heal with her man tantrically.
You mean like tantric sex?
Yeah, tantric sex, or maybe even like just Reiki, like without having like sexual intercourse.
Well, when you feel like you one with your old lady, there's so much shit y'all can do together to produce effect in the world. The manifestation that they call the secret, right? When you got a female and a male, y'all two batteries going in a remote control. You could create a circuit. You cycle the psychic impression through the circuit by counting the circuit itself. You have to use your imagination and visualize in your mind that whatever it is you're trying to bring into reality is in this loop, right? How you make the loop. You sit, if you can, sit in lotus position. But if you can't, you can sit in a chair. If because some guys' knees from being athletic, especially in this era, a lot of our knees is bad. We can't sit in lotus position, but we could sit on a chair or a cushion, right? She sit, you penetrate, then you take your tongue and put it in the roof of her mouth. You just made the circuit complete, right? And you she's the one who's the manifester. You the one have to hold the focus in the now. Because whatever y'all agreed upon, she's cycling it through the circuit. Right? You use something simple as a tester. You write on a piece of paper something simple. I'm gonna find a $5 bill. But this $5 bill gonna have 222 in the serial number, and it's gonna be so obvious I won't be able to miss it. Right? Now, once you write that down, that's what she's circulating in her mind. She's seeing the $5 bill and she's seeing the 222 on the serial number. Right? She don't have to see the rest of the serial number, just the 222. This is just how it's going to get your attention. Because how she see it is going to draw out to you in real life. Right? So now that y'all have something, when you finally find the $5 that got your attention with the 222 on it, you can mark the time y'all done the act and the time you found the $5. That's called your turnaround time. Now, remember, the turnaround time changes the bigger the object you trying to manifest. And you have to take steps in the physical world toward the manifestation you're trying to produce. Right? If you're trying to manifest a house, but you keep looking for apartments, you're working against yourself.
Mm.
But if you're trying to manifest a house, look at the house that you would be able to live in without ever wanting to go anywhere as long as you was with her. Maybe we could do everything right here in the house. We ain't got to fuck with the outside world. It don't mean that y'all not going to fuck with the outside world. It means that the level of peace and comfort that the environment you're looking for gives you, make it where it's not necessary for you to ever leave the house to experience that peace and that solitude and that love energy.
Okay. So like pretty much you could start off with something as simple as a $5 bill, work up to a house, maybe even like work on things like healing from childhood trauma, you know, pretty much kind of like not like making sex a little organized, but kind of taking a little more serious and just pleasure. Meaning like maybe before y'all do things, y'all have
pleasure is the key.
Okay.
The pleasure is the key. That's the unlocking of the spiritual energy into the physical world. Because that's why you think you feel the pleasure, because it's activating the body. The body already in the physical. You trying to transfer spiritual energy into the physical realm. You trapping it in the pleasure.
Okay, so pretty
enjoy
much
the fuck out that shit. Listen, enjoy the fuck out that shit while y'all stroking. Both of y'all. Right? The more you enjoy it, the more powerful it is when you use it for manifestation. Practice makes perfect. Remember that.
Okay. So we already halfway there. We just got to point that pleasure into the right direction is what you're saying.
Yeah. The $5 is what you call a controlled experiment. The reason why you only pick the $5 because it's the easier for the universe to get it to you. Get it? So it's your test run. It's your frame of reference for how it works and how long it takes. But it don't have to be that. You could put it whatever you want. You can make it be a red ball with a thumbtack in it, whatever. But it got to be something that when you see it, it is pronounced and it's something small, right? The reason you want something small because spirit can move little things faster than it can big things, because it has to move more things into an alignment for the big thing than it do for the little thing to align. So you could be walking out the house to go to the store, and the dude at the store is cashing the lottery ticket and drop a $5 bill with 222 on it. You just so happen to walk into the store after he done left and been gone. You don't see no other customers in there. You're like, oh, look, a $5 bill. Reach down, pick it up. Damn, 222. He didn't know he was leaving you a $5 bill with 222 on it. Spirit was moving the $5 bill and seeing where you was on your way to the store. It had 222 on it, so it knocked it out his hand when he was putting his money in his pocket. and all the rest of his notes is fully intact. That's how spirit use that energy is easier that way. So now you got a frame of reference, right? So then you become a physicist. You can calculate a 2-gram note or a 1-gram $5 note and multiply how many grams go into this house I'm looking at. How long did it take for that note to get here? Multiply that by how many times that note fit into the fit into the weight of the building, and that's what you do. But remember, it'll reduce by double each day as long as you stay the course of trying to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish.
No doubt.
Yeah. So every day you can do one thing even if you take a glass of water and pour it on a plant in the backyard as a physical representation of your efforts. Because you moving spiritual energy into the physical world, it requires you to do some physical movement so that you can open up the energy vortex for spirit to activate into the physical realm or to do work in the physical realm. So you're creating an energy vortex from source to physical world in order to facilitate change in the environment to give you a perfect alignment in all your steps. This was part of teaching the child how to create their best life a long time ago. Now the adults have to get the information so we can get it to the babies. They used to already know it because they used to be taught it as a baby. So it was easier to relay it to the youth. Now it's more difficult because most of the adults don't know it no more. So now we got to go on a campaign of educating adults so that they can liberate the children, so they can liberate our future. Because I don't care what you think, our children going to go way further in the future than we going to go. Most of us. The lucky ones. Because nobody want their child to leave before them.
That's a fact. Well, I got another question, another random question that just came to mind, and I do got like I might have a 16 for you if you don't mind me spitting for you.
Man, that's my thing.
All right, but let me ask the question first, because I'm from New York City, and I noticed like there's a lot of like people who dropping the knowledge from New York City. Like, what's the special thing about New York City? We got like Brother Rich, we had Brother Panic, rest in peace. We got A. Rashid, Bobby Hemming used to go there all the time, C. Free Manel, what's the OG? We got Eileen Bay, we got it's a whole bunch of people from New York City that's dropping the knowledge, and like I just feel like it's something just different about New York City. Like what's so special about New York City? We got Mfundishi, so many people came through New York City that was dropping the knowledge.
Ain't New York called the Empire State?
Definitely.
Who's the empire?
The empire. I guess the emperor is the emperor, like the rulers. Hey.
You got to be somebody empire in order for that state to belong to the empire. They tell
you mean like
you in the name.
You mean like a specific person who actually was the emperor?
Look, they tell you in the name of the city. What's the name of the city?
New York City.
New York City. What's the name of the state?
New York.
That's an echo. It's reinforcing that New York is New York, and it is the Empire State. The Dutch was doing business with the tribes in New Yorkshire, but back then it was called New Amsterdam. But when they signed treaties, they changed the name from New Amsterdam to New Yorkshire. Then it became New York. But it was the first place that the chiefs got tricked out of a large plot of land by settlers with trinkets. They never intended to sell the land. This is the ODB Wu-Tang grievance. Shinnecock Nation of organic peoples to the land. So the reason so many people had to come to New York, it was ground zero for the false doctrines to be pushed into the communities. Remember, music doesn't change without the Harlem Renaissance. Right? Stage shows don't take hold without Apollo. Right? Diamond traders can't diamond trade without Manhattan because they got to keep the diamonds in the hat. And when somebody wants the diamonds out the hat, you always pull out a trick, a rabbit. Because tricks are for kids. Right? So the hat is Manhattan of the Mad Hatter. The Mad Hatter is the man with the top hat.
Mhm.
The man with the top hat is the man in the black suit standing at the crossroads, waiting to bring judgment on the enemy to his people. This is not only do the knowledge spring out of New York, breakdancing, which is dance combat to relay a message without actual bloody war. To keep with the contract edict, they use dance instead of combat to tell the secret out of New York. Father God Allah, Clarence 13X, affectionately known as Puddin', put into the public domain out of, I think, Brooklyn, the 120 degrees of the 5% nation of gods and earths. The 120 degrees, I think they gave it out in 19 lessons, I think, or was it 21? I don't remember the number. But these was all elders that was trying to unravel the conjure of the settlers that usurped New York. When you go back, Arthur Schomburg was the largest collection of historical works in relation to melanated peoples around the world, which gave us the Schomburg Library and Museum in New York, which became the capital for everybody that wanted to excavate our history and find out what happened, because we was coming out of this amnesia. So you see a parade of elders marching through New York, and the Schomburg Library was a mecca for anybody that was working on the problem, which is the liberation of the original people for Turtle Island. The roadblock was the transatlantic slave trade, which was a side rail, what they call a collateral attack. The sensationalism of the numbers that came in the transatlantic slave trade to the mainland is used to cloud the vision of the ones that's waking up from the slumber, and they won't be able to remember that they was already here. But they're going to take the narrative that they came from somewhere else, and then they're going to build a confraternity. So the UNIA, right, function. The confraternity journey's purpose is to find out from the people in Africa if you from Africa or not, right? The people in Africa also was usurped just like us. So when we go and investigate, we find there's two groups of Africans that identify us differently, right? They just dropped the, this is the 5% science. I'm gonna pin it if I can. Just the 5% science.
I peeped Supreme Math 1 to 10, 114, 136, 140, 12 joules, actual facts, solar facts, 120 degrees, man.
Yeah. So all of these things, now out of these assignments right here that he's naming, you get Rakim Allah, you get KRS-One, you get LL Cool J, you get Jay-Z, you get Brother J from X-Clan, and the rest of them all started studying at 5%ers. Whether they joined or not, I'm not sure, but all of them was into the studies of the 5% Nation of the Gods and Earths. Right? Brand Nubian, almost all of the groups that came out in early New York they came out speaking the lingo of the Nation of Gods and Earths to the public in the original rap songs. Like Rakim's first song, My Melody, is loaded with 5% science and lingo. Right? But we don't know if we don't study the tribes from New York, because this is going to show us why all of these people was coming there. This is the epicenter of activity for our awakening, because it's one of the first places that we were sacked. Right? Also, the Delaware Indians, first state incorporated. Right? Also, the Virginians, where Big Mama called us all to war from to go fight the Gullah Wars in Florida. So you see different function or different activity take place in those areas. But it's all something that's tied to us putting the puzzle back together as to who we are, right? Like Nikki Barnes from North Carolina. Frank Lucas from North Carolina. Bumpy Johnson, I think, from North Carolina. They all Gullah. They all went to New York and got rich using what the slave master allowed them to get rich on. We wasn't allowed into their business world. They was murdering us for it. So we had to come up with our own business models. So then they banned them and made them illegal. The government making stuff illegal to turn what we already doing to make money into a crime so they can punish us for trying to get out of poverty. Systematic, organized efforts to keep us down.
No doubt. So it sounds like New York is definitely like a big part of the shift. Is, you know, as much as other states, as much as other territories. But yeah, I'm gonna give that 16 before we get up out of here. And if you motivated, inspired to get something back, I don't mind. All right. Hopefully,
I'm a little too tired right now.
All right.
But I'm gonna listen to you though.
All right. So niggas think because they vegan and they meditate, their problems gonna be solved. They don't tell you once you start healing all your problems, they revolve. They evolve to that new nigga. You trying to become more money, more problems. How much problems do you want? Pick your poison. Once you clear your mind, it gets noisy. The universe is mental. Do you think you got choices? Everybody hear voices. Who listen to the right one? Matter of fact, who listen to dog? Cause ain't no wrong. Nah, who the fuck do we listen to in this environment? Old folks telling you the enemy is hiring. Young niggas hustling. Young bitches lining them. Dotted line their souls, hoping somebody signing them. But they don't see the signs though. We blind far as the mind go. I don't believe in time. I can thrive at any time. time zone. It's all frequency. You know that you a god, right? Let's call a spade a spade. You just got to play your cards, right? Acting like an animal, but think you're humane. It's the same thing. Can you master each plane? God, you complete all the parts, arm, leg, arm, head, Allah. There's more than 7 chakras. You think that you tapped in because you know the seed sounds and hum sacred black hymns. Lam, vam, ram, yam, ham, am, om. You want peace in this world, but there's war at your home. My mom's is my pops when my pops wasn't home and he was never there. She did it on her own. Immaculate conception, 9th child out 11. As above, so below. You in hell, this is heaven. Can't nobody teach you. You reach it if you're ready. Ain't no such thing as a secret. They won't do it if you tell them. Information, knowledge, wisdom ain't the same. You ain't a real play. You just talk a good game. Information, knowledge, and wisdom ain't the same. You hate school but expect your kids to love it. That's insane. Black man, black woman, white dreams. It's European to call a bitch a queen. Hold on. I know that went over your medulla. A king is a king. Fuck the gender of the ruler. Money over bitches. Definition of misogyny. Believing you're the body. You'll be suffering till you out of it. You either thinking natural or you think logical. You programmed by the system or your ancestors guiding you. Either way, I'm proud of you.
That shit lit. Look, when I get ready to do my music project, man, you know what you in on that shit.
Say less. Say less. I stopped because I could have kept going. But I didn't want to take up too much time. But this bar shit is what I do.
Look, what these niggas know about a life in the pen, making love to your wife with a pen. But in the end, you can't keep a chick with a letter. Sport coat, reading your letters, dick in the better, decreasing your cheddar. First sign is over, but don't fret, nigga. It's time to be a soldier. On the small or big yard, take out your aggression. Resort to hard shit for a lack of affection. Ain't no protection from religious philosophers here. The first warning, predators feed on fear. I'm in my own zone. Shit, niggas keeping me stressing. I'm by my bunk late night, mama praying for blessings. Been gone too long, locked dead in the cell. Wait a minute. I've been gone too long, locked in the cell, doing hard-ass time. These niggas sick as hell. 2 niggas got shanked last week in holy war. They claim to be religious, niggas rotten to the core. Well, sure you got some with a golden tongue, speaking redemption all the time, but their souls is numb. They got me cooking orange juice because I need a drink. I caught the chronic on the yard. I need the weed to think. Hoping to release me for the streets to roam with freedom from stress, nigga. I'm in my own zone.
Let's go. Good looks. That you wrote that when you was locked up?
Yeah.
Tight. How much time?
Actually, I wrote that when I got out. Because I was saying these niggas is throwing rocks at the penitentiary. They don't even know about the life in the pen. Making love with your wife in the pen. You know what I mean? They don't know about that shit. They out here taking penitentiary chances, and they don't know what they facing when they get in there. Predators feed on fear. When you go in there and you show your first sign of fear, you done. They like ravenous hyenas on your ass when they find out you scared. They finna diddy your ass up.
But that's when you tapped in though, right? That's when you started to like read more heavily and started to tap all the way in, right?
I was look, I had caught my case I was 17, right? I had been working on this shit since I was a little boy because I couldn't figure out what was wrong, why I wasn't born into the same life of privilege that I normally am born into. And by the time I was like 6, I knew we had lost the war and got conquered, and that I had to figure out exactly what's the steps to get us back where I can have that life I normally am born into, and it's the redemption process. As a crown prince, I have to figure out certain stuff so that I can find the pieces to the puzzle to rebuild the matriarchy.
Wait,
Right.
Now that you chat, and you sound really similar to the Terrence Howard nigga, the way he was chatting. Like he was chatting like he remember actually coming into the womb. Like he had a dream that he woke up in his mother's womb. And I remember you saying like you remember all of that. You remember the like literally being born and everything. And that sounds really similar to Terrence Howard. I don't know if you peeped his Joe Rogan interview where he was dropping all that science, bro. What you think about all that shit he was dropping? The 1 × 1 = 2, the linchpin stuff he was dropping, the new technology, the patents, how they stole AI and stuff from him. What you think about all that stuff he was dropping? If you tapped into that.
I didn't watch the whole thing, but I seen enough of it. I didn't have no major issue with nothing he said. You know, 1 × 1 depend on how you read the math, right? 2. I watched a math competition on one of these university channels that used to come on cable, and all these scientists was doing this math problem on the chalkboard. 3 of them got the same answer, and one of them got a different answer, but wasn't none of the answers wrong. I couldn't understand how the dude with the different answer wasn't wrong. He was the only one with the actual answer to the question they was asking that was correct. But the other 3 that came up with the same answer, in the formula, they deviated by using a different symbol, which changed the value of the equation when it comes out at the end. He chose the symbol in making the formula that made it come out to the answer they was looking for. So they knew both answers already because they knew the symbol that would be interchanged based on the mathematician's background and training. So they know it's 2 possible answers for this. If this symbol right here is changed to this symbol, the answer would be this. If it's this symbol, the answer would be that. And
Okay.
it kind of, I was like, I thought mathematics was more precise than that. But mathematics is malleable because time is malleable. And mathematics is our method to calculate the phenomena related to the time dilation. So no matter how we looking at it, it's always playing out as a conceptual physics formula. By understanding conceptual physics, you can see it as it play out from the inside as opposed to seeing it on the paper. You can see it from inside of the play out in the world around you as a conceptual physics form. It's a story being told. So now that you know how to read the conceptual physics, you can put the story together by the motion of things around you. It's reading hieroglyphics of life, what we call it. And
Speaking
this
of
is why
hieroglyphics, that's how I thought he was breaking down the periodic table. When Terrence Howard was breaking down the periodic table, he was like, the way they got it is all faulty, and they don't show the relationships between how certain elements are actually an extension of that element, right? Like this element is actually, I don't remember the exact elements, but he was like how carbon actually turns into nitrogen or something like that. You know, they have the same frequency, they have the same hertz,
yeah,
you know, or double hertz or whatever, so it makes it the same frequency. And like that made me think of like the different deities, right? How like we have you know, Aten was like how all of the deities is one, and it made it seem like that's how the periodic table is. It's like all of the elements are really one element that changes into each element, and it made me think of that. It made me think of like hieroglyphics. It made me think of like how all the religions are pointing to one thing, right? Like the way he broke down the periodic table, I'm like, he might be on to something, and if the world thought about science and math in the way that he thought about it and produced in that way, it would kind of shut down the economy because it would it would make us realize how much we're infinite when it comes to resources. And the way they give us science, the way they give us math, they make it kind of limits us so that we're dependent on it and we're counting and using it in a monetary way instead of in a infinite way.
You are absolutely correct. Math, when you learn math, it's supposed to teach you how to play chess in real life. It's supposed to teach you the principles of cause and effect to degrees, right? The information we process in as images is binary codes that's played out in the form of DNA constructs, but it's still binary coded information interface with computers. The biology of the human can interface with computers. They got an ancient computer in Tibet in the cave, and it has an interactive computer that scans your genetics, and then it tells you the part of the history of the world that you need to know for what your DNA code reads. And you can ask questions. And then they on the screen, it looked like you're talking to two AI people. That they talking to you like you talking to me, but they computer generated. Right? So they might scan your outfit and dress them in a similar dress that you're wearing so that you can relate to what they're saying better. And if they can frequency talk to you on a frequency that's telepathy, where they can communicate directly into your brain by frequency that can hear you by frequency return the response.
Okay. Well, I appreciate you though, Rod Hayes. My name Big Bay Cornell, by the way.
Where you at?
Well, I'm from New York City. I don't want to drop my location though.
Oh, okay, that's cool. You ain't gotta do that. I don't want to put nobody in peril, you know.
Nah, it's all good. I ain't running for nobody or nothing, but I just like to be on the low.
But you still respecting your privacy. That's all.
Yeah. But yeah, I'm definitely from New York City. You know, I'm always rep that no matter where I'm at, no matter where I go. So that's all my family at right now. So
Yeah.
born in the Bronx, raised in Brownsville, Brooklyn. You know, where Mike Tyson from. You know, who else from there? MOP, Shannon Briggs. I'm really a boxing fan. You know, Zab Judah. So yeah.
Yeah. And New York done put out some nice fighters over the years.
Definitely.
You know why, right? Some of them dudes grew up scrapping in the streets.
That's really how it is. Like in New York City, like you gotta you gotta know how to defend yourself walking outside. Like if you want to be outside, you want to be a homebody, you want to stay in the crib, stay in the crib. But you know, back in the day, we chilling outside and we just gonna test each other. That's just how it works in New York City. Like literally.
How you gonna know who gonna grow up to be the alpha if you ain't never test yourself?
It's a fact.
Men, boys have to start establishing dominance when they hit puberty so that they don't have to fight when they become adults.
That's a fact.
Right? And if they do have to fight, they got a support crew with them. Right? That's how you end up getting in gang fights. Because you're not finna just beat my homeboy ass like that. It's not just finna go down. And not while I'm here. And then he got a guy on his side that's saying the same thing to my man. So you ain't just finna beat my homeboy down.
That's a fact.
Right? So we both going like we gonna break it up. Next thing you know, me and him scrapping.
For real.
And him and my other homeboy, they over there scrapping. And then before you know it, everybody out here scrapping.
And the funny shit is, as teenagers, we all fight each other, and we friends though. Like, in few weeks, we all hanging out together. and like we ain't gonna let no
It's,
other hood come and mess with us. Like the same dude we fight with, we just know who we know how he get down now. Now I know he can fight, he know I can fight, and we cool now. You know what I'm saying? Like that ain't really how beef was back in the day. Like we ain't really fight, and you got beef because of a fight. Like I don't know how people getting to know. This a different type of beef now. It's just a different type of beef now. But back then we fought and we was cool. Like a lot of the people we fought, we was cool with. Like we'd chill, smoke with them, drink with them, vibe with them, grow up with them. No, we ain't never
that's
let
how
them fight.
you.
Just
That's how.
separate.
Now that was before they put the instigators in our community because they hired people. Pay attention to what I'm telling you. They literally put people on payroll. That when y'all get done fighting, if he one of y'all friend, his job is to soup you up to bust a cap in that nigga. Why you mad? They paid them to do this to us. That's why we got these Bloods and Crips killing themselves. GDs and Stones, GDs and Vice Lords, Stones and Vice Lord, because they keep sending instigators in. Whose job it is to catch us when we mad at somebody and convince us to kill them, so the system can get a 2-for-1 deal.
Mm.
One nigga off the street, another nigga in the cage.
So they ain't never stopped the COINTELPRO.
No, they still got instigators that's on payroll in the community right now. The
Yeah, I
good
feel like
thing
there's a bunch of
is,
instigators online too, with all of the every time you see somebody dropping information, next thing you know, they videos down, they in jail. It's like, what's going on?
yeah,
So I feel like they got
that's
COINTELPRO in a lot of the online intellectual communities.
yeah. The COINTELPRO evolved. They split up in the factions. You had the ones responsible, the police and the conscious book crew. These was all the brothers in the 90s and early 2000s that was telling you what books to read to get the information out. They was being tracked through library cards and ISBN numbers at checkout registers. They got certain books that was flagged, and whoever got that book, they sent the notice because that ISBN number was active of who bought that book, and if you was part of certain groups, then they start trying to set you up for the instigators and infiltrators to come in. Right? They got another thing they was doing is like they was sending in people to hijack business in corporate America, sending in bribing union officials, the corporations bribing union officials, paying them under the table to not get the workers a good contract. It benefit the immediate person, but it don't benefit the working people that they represent, right? And they stubborn in doing their dirt, because when I left GM, one of the catalysts was this: the uh, negotiating committee was under federal investigation for fraud, for embezzlement, for bribery, and other racketeering related crimes. They continue to pursue negotiations with the auto company while it was actively under a federal investigation and several indictments had rolled out. Now, the problem with that is this: the both parties is supposed to come to the negotiating table with the highest expectation of propriety at the outset of negotiations. When you under federal investigation and people getting caught and indicted for corruption, they can't negotiate because they are being looked at if they didn't arrested 10, they looking at everybody. If they looking at everybody, the appearance of propriety is tainted. So now they going to still try to negotiate the labor dispute with the corporation,
Mm.
which ended up taking the workers on strike. When they could have got anything they asked for if they wasn't trying to get bribes. Then they got caught. Just saying. The people I work with, they didn't understand what I was talking about. They thought I was crazy. So I had to do it a different way. I had to challenge the corporatocracy to a corporate chess game, and I whooped their ass, checkmate in 11. And I got the receipts to prove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I
All right,
appreciate you.
man. I'm about to call it a night. I ain't gonna take no more callers.
No doubt.
So it was good talking to you, though.
Yeah, likewise, bro. I'm gonna take you up on that offer on them bars whenever you get your music project ready. I'm here.
Oh yeah, we're gonna be working with some legends too.
Say less. I'm gonna DM you so you have my info.
Yeah,
All right, buddy.
yeah. All right, peeps. I'm about to call it a night, and y'all heard the public service announcement earlier. Notice to the clans, and then I did 2 Q&A videos, and I'm spent now. So I'll talk to y'all later. Keep up the good work.